Thanks for joining us on another episode of Get to Know, a show that we are doing for our Calvary students. And today I'm looking forward to talking to Miss Annie Lavengood. Annie, would you be so kind as to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Annie Lavengood. I'm 13. I'm in 7th grade and I go to Ashland Middle School.
Ashland Middle School. Just a few years back, Ashland built a new middle school. How are you liking that school?
I'm liking it pretty well. It's really nice and I'm there for another year, so I'm used to it already, but
All right, cool. So most everything in there is new, but is there anything in the school that is already outdated?
um I don't think so. I mean, the lunchroom, some of the tables and everything kind of, but other than that, not really.
All right, good. Do you have a favorite subject at school?
Definitely English.
English. English was mine, so I'm right there with you. That's a big one for me. Um, Here's one. When it comes to English, like most schools aren't doing this anymore. Have you learned cursive writing?
I learned a bit of it in 3rd grade, but they stopped for some reason.
Yeah, a lot of schools had stopped, and so I
Mhm.
just had to ask. For me, it really doesn't, but for me in my mind, I associate cursive writing, English.
Yeah,
It's there. So, well, cool stuff. Annie, how long have you been attending Calvary Baptist Church?
for 13 years now.
For 13 years. So your whole life.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. And having previously interviewed your brother, I asked this question to him as well. Kind of already knew the answer, but have you ever visited any other churches outside of Calvary Baptist Church?
Yes, I've gone to a Catholic church before, and when I was like little, if I spent the night with someone, probably their church, but I don't really remember it as much.
Boom. And it's just like interviewing your brother all over again because that's exactly what he said.
Oh.
So, what are some of the differences you may have noticed between attending a Catholic church service and attending one of our services? What would you say some of the major differences are?
One of the big major differences is that they don't use the Bible and that they do practically the same things every single week. It's not really any different as um, what they have done the past week.
Get it? Yeah. All right. So, what are some things that are different from week to week at our church? How does it change that we do things differently week to week?
We have different lessons and we have different, like, if we're on a lesson, we continue with that lesson, but there's different parts to it, and we learn different concepts of each of those lessons. And we
Got
have different songs and everything.
Yeah, I totally understand. And it makes sense to me. Again, I had visited Catholic churches myself, so I know and I understand. And I get where you're coming from. What would you say is your favorite thing about our church?
I really, really like the youth group personally because it's just everyone with around the same age and like the age differences, and it seems like we all get along really well and we're all a team in there and we all work together.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, look, I like the youth group too, so I'm a little partial to it, but I appreciate it. Yeah, it really has. In the midst of all of this, it has been different, but I'm grateful for at least this avenue where we can stay somewhat connected. Um, so having been in our church for your whole life, and honestly, I'm going to ask this question in that you're newer to our youth group. Let's go before youth group back to Awana. Did
Mhm.
you enjoy being part of Awana at Calvary Baptist Church?
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. It was a good experience. I loved all the teachers in there and workers.
What was your favorite part of Awana? If I say you can't say game time.
I would say we split up into smaller groups like we do in youth group. We split into like different age groups. And I would say I liked that the best because a lot of our different ages could relate more to what we were talking about other than if we were all combined.
Yeah, good. And I know that's something that was started relatively recent. It hasn't been done all that long. So I'm glad to hear that that made an impact for you. And I'm sure some who will be watching, that will be meaningful for them to hear that as well. Do you have any hobbies?
Hobbies. I really like playing volleyball. I like reading, painting, like along doing crafts and those lines.
Okay. So let's start with volleyball. Do you play volleyball for school? Do you just play volleyball for fun?
Yes, I did my first like actual school season was seventh grade year. I'd played previously, but then I kind of stopped and then started back up. But it was it was really fun. I liked it a lot, and I plan to do it again next year.
Good, good. And here's a question, volleyball, ready? Are you an overhand server or are you an underhand server? Like,
Overhand. We're
okay,
not. They don't let us serve underhand.
good, good. I mean, that's not really serving. That's,
I mean, we're allowed to do it, but our coach doesn't like it because it shows kind of like we're not the best team. And I mean, you're allowed to do it through eighth grade, but once you get to high school, it's not allowed.
yeah, I get it. Look, I'm an overhand server when I play, so I get you.
Yeah.
Here's a topic of debate for volleyball. It depends on, I guess, how old you are because the rule has changed through the years. If the ball hits the net on a serve, is it still playable or is it dead?
It's still playable.
Do you know that's not always been the rule?
Yeah, I've heard that it's not always been the rule, but how we go by it from now, it's still playable. Like they don't say, "Oh, you have to serve it again." It's still playable.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So the hard part is like when you're at a picnic and volleyball is there and it's multi-generational people, there's always going to be an argument. The old people are going to say reserve and the young people are going to say no, no, still play.
Yeah, because in different things like say ping pong, for instance, it's a let and then you have to reserve it, but they don't do that in volleyball. Well, for now they don't do it. I don't know if they're going to change it or anything.
Gotcha. You also said crafts. Like, what are we talking here? What do you make? Do you draw? Do you make things? What do you got?
I really like painting overall everything because drawing I'm not the best at, but
All right. So do you like painting specifically on canvases? Do you paint on whatever's around to make it pretty? What do you do?
mostly canvases, if
Okay.
anything.
How long have you been doing that?
I mean, not necessarily like a specific time, but I've done it like here and there, other like throughout the years, but
All
it's
right.
kind of something I enjoy to do.
Got it. Awesome. So something to pass time. What about any hidden talents? We talked hobbies a little bit. Do you have any hidden talents?
I don't have one that I know of yet.
All right. Still
I
hidden.
I played a bit of the trumpet like 2 years ago, but I stopped that after like last year, pretty sure.
And why did you stop?
I don't know, it just became not as fun as it used to be. And I I don't know, it just kind of I lost interest, I guess.
Okay. All right. So you've got some hobbies. Your hidden talents are still hidden. But looking down the road, looking to your future, what is it that you want to do with your life? I mean, we're not saying it's set in stone, but right now, what are you thinking you want to do?
I'm not positive on what I want to do yet, but I've always thought maybe like a lawyer or a advocate or something like that. Because, I mean, I've always been told like by my family that I can argue well, so I think lawyer could fit that category. But
Okay. All right. Does your brother say that the most, that you can argue well, or?
yeah, him and my mom for sure.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So it sounds like what you're looking at is going to involve some college. And so to that, it's a little bit different for everybody. Are you thinking of leaving the immediate area for college? Are you thinking you'll do college locally? What are your thoughts?
I'm thinking that I want to go somewhere else for college, but not like all the way across the country where I can't come home for holidays or something like that. Maybe like I'm not positive where I want to go to college yet, but definitely not like all the way across the country. Maybe not necessarily. I wouldn't want to go to AU like right in Ashland, but maybe OSU or Michigan or something.
You
I'm
sure
not
about
necessarily
that? Do you
Michigan.
want me to edit that out? You just said Michigan. You want me to take that out of here?
Yeah, you can.
Wow. I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it now. Get
I'm
ready.
not necessarily saying Michigan, but like that general area, not as far as say California.
I mean, you could have said Pennsylvania. It's the next state over as well, but you went Michigan. I'm just leaving that. All right. Wow. Um, if you could have this opportunity, I mean, I don't know that it's going to avail itself, but if you had the opportunity to travel back in time, got in a time machine, and you went back to a younger Annie, what would you want to say to her?
I would want to say to her to not lie to my mom because she's
Ah,
always going to find out.
ah, that's a good one. So you have already learned this life lesson that moms find things out.
I'm still learning it, but yeah, mostly.
Good, good. All right. I like that one. That's very good. What if you could speak to a older Annie right now? What would you want to tell an older Annie?
Don't lie to your mom.
That's great. That's good. All right. So still going to be learning that lesson down through. All right. Well,
Yeah.
hey, it's honesty. There you go. Annie, I'm going to ask this question and ask a few spiritual questions at the moment. Have you ever had a time in your life where you placed your faith and trust in Christ as your Savior?
My testimony?
Yeah. What I'm asking, are you saved?
Yeah, I'm saved.
Yes. All right. I asked in a fancy way. Would you tell us that story of when that was? I don't know, not looking for a specific, maybe how old you are, whatever, but when that was and what your story looked like.
Okay, so it was around when I was, say, 6 years old. I always asked questions, but I wasn't like saved at that time. And it was vacation Bible school, and I raised my hand to go talk to a worker. And I was with Miss Alicia, and then I started asking about my salvation, and I got saved that night.
Awesome. Awesome. So it was church. So VBS played a big part in your salvation. Now I'm going to ask this question because everybody else who I've talked to has shared their testimony about being saved at a young age, if they were in church at a young age. And almost every one of them has shared with me that they had some doubts throughout their life, having been saved at a young age. Has that been true for you at all?
I mean, I wouldn't say necessarily doubts, but whenever, say, you kind of think to yourself, like after you sin and then you pray and everything, you start thinking, you're like, why did I do this? But you always come back to it as you pray over it. You pray with God, and then he forgives you no matter what. And yeah.
Good, good. Well, you summed that up very well. So I thank you for that. Do you have a favorite Bible story in the Bible?
Yes. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, the fiery furnace. It's
Fiery.
definitely my favorite.
That's a good one. Do you recall, I mean, I'm sure very young, having been injured, do you recall one of the first times you heard that lesson?
Oh, probably when I was like back in maybe even Cubbies. I don't know.
Could have been.
I was
Could have been.
really that story's kind of always stuck with me.
Okay. Well, good. No, everybody, most people raised in church have a favorite story at minimum. So I wanted to check and see if you did as well. Um, Here we go. Favorites. Do you have a favorite candy bar?
Candy bar. I don't know. Can't like I'd say if anything, like I'll have maybe Snickers or something here and there, but I don't necessarily eat candy as much as
Okay.
anything. But
All
I mean,
right.
I'll have like different snacks that are somewhat sweet, but not necessarily candy bars.
Well, what's your favorite snack?
Snack. Maybe like brownies or cookies or something like that.
Homemade or Little Debbie? What are we talking?
Homemade.
Okay, I got you. That would totally make sense. If you could pick your dream vacation, where would you be going?
Dream. I've always wanted to go to Paris, France.
Paris, France.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Why? What's the draw to Paris?
I don't know. It's always seemed really unique and somewhere that would be fun to go and just like see the different culture and what they do there since it's completely different. They speak a different language and it's just more unique. And I used to do dance, ballet, and they use a lot of French words. So that'd be really cool to just go there and explore their culture or not
Yeah,
necessarily. Yeah.
I got you. Cool. Um, this is get to know. So when, or I guess how long had you done ballet and when did you stop?
I did it for 7 years. And then I stopped around last year in December. Not like last year, but not 2019, but 2018.
Okay. All right. So 7 years of ballet and you enjoyed it. You came to a point you were just done. You didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, and it started becoming a lot. Like we used to have practice like every day of the week, and it was for like 3 hours or so every single day, and it started becoming a lot. And with volleyball, it just got my schedule got super busy, and I wanted to still have free time to come home and be with my family and friends. So I'm like, it'd be just best to kind of stop it.
All right. Well, there you go. So volleyball has taken the place of ballet for you.
Yeah,
All right. At least you substituted it. Do you have a favorite color?
I would say baby blue.
Baby blue. Teal or baby blue?
Baby blue.
All right. Just had to verify that. Um, Favorite restaurant?
I'd say like a sit down restaurant, maybe like Olive Garden or somewhere. I don't know a whole bunch of because I think of them, but I can't really come up with the names right off the top of my head.
It's a-okay. I get it. What was your favorite youth activity that we've done here at the church?
Um, I really liked back at the beginning of the year when we did Water Wars and all of those. That was really fun.
Yeah. So
Um, I like how we started to incorporate like every other week, or there was one week that we didn't do games in the gym, and then we came back and then we split up the boys and girls, and we went into smaller groups to talk and have questions.
yeah. Cool. Awesome. And last but not least, it's not really an important question, just a good one. What is your favorite school lunch?
I don't really buy lunch. I always pack mine.
And that's fine. So what's your favorite thing? If you were to pack your best school lunch, what are you packing?
Um, Probably chicken Italian if I were to pick something.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking for me, hands down, don't care how old I get, a traditional PB&J, that's what I want. And I'll be set.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, Annie, I thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with me. And for those who are watching, now you have gotten to know Annie Lavengood just a little bit better. But don't let it stop here. Continue to get to know her even beyond this video if you are part of Calvary Students. Annie, I thank you. Before I go, I always leave everybody just the opportunity. You don't have to, but you may choose to share one final thought. Do you have anything that comes to mind that you would like to say to anybody watching?
Yeah. So still be active during this, even though, we're not really allowed to leave home. Stay healthy and don't lie to your mom. Don't
Don't
do
lie to your mom. That's
because
gonna be,
trust me, they'll figure it out.
yeah. I'm gonna change the title of just this interview from "Get to Know" to "Don't Lie to Your Mom" just for this one.
All right.
There you go. Well, Annie, I thank you so much for taking the time to be on this call, and I hope that all who watched have enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better.